Well, hello and welcome to episode 4. My name is Erika and you can find me as Loareknits everywhere. And yeah, this is episode 4 of my knitting or mostly knitting podcast and in video format. And welcome if you're here, welcome if you're new, and welcome if you're returning. I brought myself in this beautiful mug some tea. I usually have coffee for breakfast, but I like tea then during the day, and herbal tea for the nights. So today I'm having some tea. It's a bit cloudy, so I hope it's not very dark. I've tried shifting the camera a bit. You usually see it here, but you don't see it today because I shifted a bit so that I can be facing the window a bit more and maybe get some more clarity. So yeah, I want to thank and welcome everyone who came via Anna Sjösvärd's podcast. I totally mispronounced her surname last time. I've listened very closely to how she says it, and I'm pretty sure she says Anna Sjösvärd. I hope I said it right this time. And yeah, I want to say thank you to her for mentioning my video podcast in her last episode. It was very funny and coincidental that I think I was recording a couple of weeks ago. I think it was on a Friday and I released my episode on Saturday, and I think she released hers on Friday. And I totally missed it. I didn't see it, of course, because I was still recording. And she did mention my podcast, and as many of you know, I also talked about her and about an upcoming test that I was gonna custom for her. So it was very sweet. It was very not planned, and I was overwhelmed in a good way by all the people that came from her podcast to mine and said that they loved it, because I am truly inspired by her videos and everything she does, and people coming here and also loving this little space that I created made me very, very happy. So thank you, Anna. I will talk a little bit about my Sigrun test today. And yeah, so welcome. I am recording. Today is February 15th, 2025. Not sure I will be able to edit and upload today, so you might be seeing this after on the 16th or maybe even later. So yeah, thanks a lot, Anna. Thank you to everyone who came via her podcast, and thank you to everyone who continues to be here, coming through any other way. Okay, so I want to start talking about what I'm wearing today. You don't see a lot of it. I think you might have seen some sneak peeks on the intro. It does seem like a very plain boat neck raglan, but let me tell you, it's full of special details. So this is Reggie by Claire Wells, and it has a boat neck, as I mentioned. It has another color inside. I think it's a beautiful detail. It's a colourway sweater. You can see now on my sleeves. And yeah, it's a deep raglan sweater, and it has a beautiful colourway detail on the sleeves, but also on the body. It is a longish sweater for the style that I like to wear now. I knit this back. I test knit this in fact back in 2020. I just checked my notes before, and I worked this in the original yarn it was designed for, which it was, I say was because it's not available anymore. It's Raincloud and Sage North. It's a beautiful rustic yarn that I love. It's this kind of yarn that I found I'm always grabbing from my wardrobe. I love to knit with it, and I love to wear the things that I knit with it. It's usually not super cold here, but luckily I can wear this next to my skin without adding many layers, but it is warm, and we don't get such cold weather here in Barcelona. However, yeah, I've seen with the years that I do prefer to knit with this yarn, and I do prefer to wear this yarn. At the time, I didn't know many local yarns that were this style of yarns. When I started knitting, the first group of people that I started recognizing or meeting locally were the hand dyers, and there wasn't so much, or I wasn't aware of all the rustic yarn or more natural yarn producers in Spain. A lovely viewer commented whether I could talk about the yarns that I can find or that are local to me in Southern Europe, I would say. So I think I could talk about the yarns in Spain and in Portugal probably, as those are the closest to me because we are on the same peninsula. And I don't think today is the day that I will talk about this because I don't want this to be very long. And at the time there were some producers and some companies that were selling Spanish yarn or local yarn, but I didn't know them at the time. So I discovered more hand dyers, let's say, that were local to me. And then when I started working with this kind of yarns, I sometimes got them from outside. You know, Raincloud and Sage was one of these examples of very local, very sourceable, very sustainable yarn. I fell in love with this kind of the material and the sweater it produced. And since then I've met many local producers as well, and I will talk about that maybe in another episode. But yeah, so Reggie by Claire Wells. I love it, and I was saying it's a bit longer than my usual or my preferred style nowadays for sweaters. I do wear pants, I do wear jeans and trousers, and this length is perfect for that. It's, let's say, a bit of my older style, a longer sweater with it sits at my natural hip, it finishes at my natural hip, and now I wear higher waisted jeans or pants, so I wear also a lot of dresses and skirts, and for those I like a more cropped design. I've talked about this in the past as well, but this is a sweater that I love so much that I still have in rotation in my wardrobe. I wear it with jeans, I wear it with pants, and I have lots of sweaters, and I do believe that if I stop wearing them, I would like to find new houses for them. I don't know when I will do it because of course I'm very attached to many of them, but if I find that I'm not wearing some of my hand knits anymore, I would probably love to find a new home for them. Either I will give them to someone who would value it greatly. This episode will not feature any other finished objects than this one because I haven't finished anything this last couple of weeks. I have been recording bi-weekly and I did show lots of finished things in the past episodes, but not this one because currently I have very active 3 test knits on my needles. 2 of them I will show you now in a minute, but one of them I can't, sadly, because it's a secret test knit. I will show you once I can. So let me start talking about the things that I have on my needles now. So first, I have these beautiful color work socks. This is Whispering Star socks by Melody Hoffmann, also known as Mandarins, and it is a wider sock. It is a bit wider than my regular socks. It has more stitches, and I have knit color work in the past. I have knit color work socks. I have obviously knit color work sweaters, but usually for socks I have only knit color work in the leg. And what I have done in the past is have more stitches on the leg, and then once I was past the heel, I have reduced to a regular stitch count. So I would have more stitches than I would for my regular socks on the leg, because color work is not as stretchy as regular stockinette, or even less than ribbing. And then I would resume a plain stockinette sock on the foot and go back to my usual stitch count. So in this case I signed up for a bigger size, which I know works well for my leg. They are a bit big on the foot side, but since this is a test knit, I didn't want to make any adjustments, any changes to the size pattern, also because I didn't know how to, I didn't want to think about how to fix it properly, and then actually I think the purpose of test knits is to knit them as they are. So what means this is, it's a bit bigger on the foot, so then I had to make a shorter foot so I can pull it and then just block it a bit more lengthwise on the foot, so it does have less rows, rounds that a normal foot would have for myself, for my feet. But I have tried them on and they fit really well. I did have to unravel a few rows at the, I had another row of stars. I had to rip it back because I wanted to start on the toe a bit earlier, because it has a fairly length toe, which I love for a contrast color work toe, but then that meant that I need a few less rows on my sock as I tried it. So I ripped it up, I ripped it back this morning, and I am back on the circular needles on Magic Loop for the toe. I worked the socks in shorties into 75mm needles. And yeah, this is a lovely test. It has this quilt star motif, and they're beautiful. So I'm hoping to finish it today and have a half finished object. The yarn that I'm using, so the main color is this beautiful reddish brown. Oh, it's not attached to the skin, to the sock anymore, because I just finished. You see, I had to, these are the rows that I had to unravel. I only have a pair of proper brown socks on my wardrobe that I was gifted in the last sock exchange. I'm actually participating in a new edition this year, so I will show some of that maybe in a couple of episodes. But I am missing proper brown socks on my wardrobe. And when I saw this skein in the Barcelona Knits Festival, I thought it was beautiful. It's showing a bit brighter than it is. I think because of the lack of light, the camera is trying to capture a bit more. I think it's more closer to this color. The color is a bit more true over there. I do look a bit washed out as well, so maybe this is more the true color. And this I wasn't buying a lot of yarn this Barcelona Knits Festival. It happened in November 2024, but I found these new to me dyers. This is Hippie Fibers, and I got this. So what I like about buying in festivals is looking for bases and blends that I don't have don't usually have in my stash, because I can touch them and I can see them how the dye work happened. And this is the Hippie Fibers, their Eco Sock base, which is 80% merino wool and 20% linen. So linen here, I guess, is substituting nylon for durability of the sock. And I chose this yarn because Melodies was designed also for a linen sock base. I think it's by Wool. Once the pattern is out, you'll see all the details. So I found this interesting. I'm not sure you're gonna see, but you can see some of the linen flex. So linen is very rigid. It has not a lot of flexibility, and I was a bit scared of choosing these for colorwork socks, but I trusted Melody, and I think it was a great choice. So super interesting to see how I'm going to like wearing this. And then for the contrast color, so this is the main color, then for the contrast color I'm using just Deep Stash Drops Fabel. I never know how to pronounce this. Is this Fabel? Fabel? Fable? Well, you know, Drops Sock yarn. This is classic wool nylon blend, and it is a bit, so yardage is the same, but the way it's spun this is a bit thicker than this on the thread, you can see, but I think it worked up really nicely. So this is test in progress number 1. Hoping to have a half finished object later in the day today. So Cookie's here, but she's asleep today. Not sure she's going to what's the word I'm looking for? It's not gonna come in any language that I know. My brain is racking all the languages it speaks. She's not gonna, it's not gift. It's not, I don't think she's gonna show up today. I don't think we're gonna be able to enjoy her company today. Number 1. So test in progress number 2 is Anna Sjösvärd. So a test for Anna Sjösvärd. I'm saying her name so many times, I hope I am not mispronouncing it again. Well, this is the Sigrun sweater test. I did ask for recommendations about the yarn combinations in the last episode. Everyone but one, I think, voted for the green yarn combination. I have the extra skeins here. Let me show them to you. This was the combination that I was showing. And as you can see, it was a high contrast. I mean, again, it's looking a bit washed out today. It's more this. But they were high contrast. However, you guys seem to love them, and probably I showed them first because they were my first unconscious choice too. This is Uschitita Merino singles and La Fefi Suri alpaca lace. So some brushed alpaca silk. And you guys loved it. I think it got all the votes, -1. And I did swatch with it. I don't have the swatch because I blocked it and I unraveled it to use. I don't always do that. I keep lots of the swatches, mostly when I need to do more than one. But then since sometimes I don't know what to do with them, I know a lot of people do a lot of things with them, but I did want to make the most of this yarn. I am going to have leftovers, so it was not a matter of running out of yarn, but I did want to use most of it. So this is the color and the fabric that it's giving. I'm sorry it's all scrunched up on the needles, but this is how we'll have to see it for now. It's, I don't know how to describe it. So the pattern calls for Plotulopi and mohair silk blend. So I know the Plotulopi, it's a lot thicker than the Uschitita Merino singles. But the brushed alpaca silk, it's a bit fuller than the mohair silk blends that I've used usually, or the alpaca, the brushed alpaca silk blends or yarns and bases that I've tried. They usually they're a bit fuller than the mohair. And originally I had made this yarn combination for a lento sweater, and the lento sweater has an even looser gauge, and it's meant to drape. And I know Anna's pattern was not meant to have this finish because it is a crop sweater, and probably I think it's meant to be a bit more rigid, the rigidity given by the fuller unspun loppy-like yarn, floaty loppy-like yarn. But it's also, again, back to the weather, it's also not cold enough here so that I can wear Plotulopi sweaters many days on the year. So I gave this a chance, and instead of swatching on 6mm needles that the lento calls for, or I think it's 4.5 that Anna recommends, I swatched in 5.5mm needles, so something in between. And my gauge was spot on. It is a drapey sweater, you see, but I think it worked really nice. I think the Latvian braid is looking awesome in this because you're holding yarns double or triple, I don't remember now, lots of strands. I think it's looking lovely. It is going to be a bit more drapey than Anna intended, but I checked with her and she was happy that I was using this. She was okay that I was using this combination. And you can see this is a very deep mossy green, and it also has brown undertones. So this is absolutely my cup of tea now. This is what I'm rocking with. I'm loving it. It is a bit scrunched up, but trust me, I hit gauge, and I think it's going to fit me beautifully. I was aiming to split for the sleeves during this week, but I did not. But the week is not over, so maybe between today and tomorrow I will be able to split for the sleeves, and I will have done so before the week is over. So Sigrun test for Anna Sjösvärd. Absolutely loving this, and this is very mindless, and it will be even more mindless on the body, although the body will be cropped and it will be short. But yeah, full steam ahead. And then the one that I can't show you, I did get a little ball of the yarn that I'm using so that you can see. I am very into earthy, natural, beigey colors now. Browns and rusts and greens, but I guess it's the season. I did used to knit a lot with pink yarn, but lately I'm all about these nature colors. So the one that I'm using now is this. This is called, the colorway is called Civada in Catalan, which translates to oat. So this oat color. And this is Pastoreta by Joya Wool, and I'm testing one of her designs on this base. I can't tell you anything about it, sorry. Maybe I shouldn't have talked about it, but I did want to show. I think it goes very well with all the things that I'm working up lately. So this, hopefully I will be able to show you soon a secret test for Elena. I also don't have any immediately going into my needles yarn that I want to show you. Nor do I have any acquisitions because I didn't get any new yarn in the last 2 weeks. I am trying to work more from my beautiful yarn collection. I've talked about this in the past, but I have pulled some yarn from my collection. This looks a lot like the color of yarn that I showed last week, but it's not the same. So here I have some Nomad Noos High Mountain Yak. This is absolutely luxurious and delicious yarn. It has a little tag of the person that spun the yarn, because these are hand spun yarns from the herders in Mongolia. Hand spun yak wool from the herders of Mongolia. So this is yak wool. And I have had this yarn in my stash for quite a while. I have no idea the year because with all the pandemic and everything, it messed up my timeline. I have no idea what happened when. I did sample knit a sample for them in the past, and in exchange I got this. Not sure how this goes with, is it sponsored or is it not, or gifted, because I did receive this in exchange for my labor, which was knitting a sample for them. So I'm gonna go with no, but I'm gonna be fully transparent. I got this yarn for a sample, so in exchange of a sample that I knit for them many years ago. It could be 2019, 2020. I'm not sure. Well, a few years ago. And I did talk to them a while back about designing something with them, because I had submitted a proposal for a magazine with design in mind for this yarn. However, that didn't get chosen, and then I got a bit out of rhythm or touch, or a bit, not, I don't know how to explain this, but I wasn't really feeling the design call. I don't know how to say this. It feels a bit strange to call myself a designer, but I have put a few knitwear designs out there, lots of socks, some other accessories, and they did get in touch back with me last year, and to ask whether I would be able to knit a small or design a small thing for them for this year. So I am aiming to put this on the needle soon for a design that I would like to do for this beautiful yarn, and if all goes well, this should come out in May. So what I have in mind now, because at the time of submission I was thinking about a sweater, but I don't feel confident enough that I can design a sweater and grade a sweater properly, and you know, to be size inclusive and just make sure that it works for everyone. And also because I think that this yarn, it is very special, but it is on the high end of price point, so maybe not everyone can afford sweater quantity on this kind of yarn. But anyway, since the new conversation started with Koti, and she asked whether I could design a small accessory with it, we've talked about a small neck accessory for spring, and I'm thinking little scarfette or little shawlette. They're very in right now, I know, but a little bandana-ish, or a kerchief, you know. I'm visualizing this with the drape that it will have with a little triangular small kerchief style. So let me know what you think. Let me know whether you think this would work as a small neck accessory. And yeah, and if you've tried this yarn before or yak. And I'm very excited for this because I do think this, I did need the sample in High Mountain yak. It was a absolute stunner. It was a lace work shawl. It was beautiful. Also, it was in a color that it was super totally out of my comfort zone. It was a deep teal, deep blue, but I remember thinking this, it was so beautiful. And then yeah, it was really hard for me to choose a colorway to receive in exchange, because they are all very deep, very rich, very beautiful. So yeah, that should be coming soon. And talking about designs, I will hold myself accountable too, because I do have a design that was published in a magazine that I should be releasing soon, which is for a pair of socks that I don't have with myself. But maybe I can show them in the next episode. It's a pattern for shorty socks, and yeah, let me know if that's something you're interested in, me talking about designs that I've worked in the past or that are coming, and maybe that also makes me excited to get back on track, in the track of things. So yeah, this is next, and I think that's all for today. I know it's a shorty one, but I warn you that I didn't have any finished objects. I am knitting all the tests. There's one that I can show. And yeah, so thank you very much for watching. Thanks for sharing this little while with me. I hope you enjoyed it, and that you don't mind sometimes also the shorter format. And yeah, thanks for all the comments that you're leaving, all the questions that you're asking, all the ideas that you're giving me of topics to talk about. It is really exciting to be back in this sphere. And yeah, I'm really sorry you can't see Cookie today. Hopefully on the next episode. So yeah, see you soon. Bye.